Welcome back everybody to Hayes Tech. I'm Dave Hayes and this is the channel where we talk about pretty much anything tech, and I do mean anything tech. You guys know that I am a big fan of collecting watches. I'll collect anything from some of the old Russian watches to a lot of the Casios, Elgins, you name it. If I can afford to get it, I like it, all right? And it doesn't matter. I mean, look at me right now. I'm wearing a Casio Edifice, which we're going to talk about. So, in this video, we're going to talk about a bunch of watches. You can see them all here on the table. We're going to be talking about basically Casio watches, but I just kind of threw these in here as a comparison, and this is just a very small selection of what I have, what I collect, all right? So, don't go away. When we come back, we're going to talk about Casio watches, where they are today. And as always, if you liked my video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you saw, think about subscribing. And if you subscribe, don't forget to hit that notification bell icon. That way you get a notification of my videos as soon as I release them. Okay, now before we go any further, I did want to mention I may actually do the drawing and have the giveaway before I hit 5,000. Actually, if I think about it, I'm up to like 4,700 subscribers now. So again, I might just go ahead and have the giveaway anyways. I also wanted to mention that, again, the reason why the videos aren't coming out as much as they used to is because I have a new dog. Of course, you guys in my Telegram chat group, you guys all know his name is Ziggy, and he has, oh man, been taking a lot out of me, and he does not like to let me alone for very long. So when I'm doing videos, it's a nightmare to try to keep an eye on him while I'm doing a video. So anyways, let's get back to what I want to talk about today. As you guys can see here on the table, we have a bunch of Casio watches from here over, okay? And they range from $20 up to, well, this one here, the Mudmaster, it lists for $700, okay? I actually got this one way cheaper because I bought it used. The Edifice lists for $350. Again, I bought this used. This one right there, I bought that used, and I think I paid $230 for it. My wife, God bless her, just purchased me, without me knowing it, a Casio Rangeman. And it is another one of those crazy watches that will do everything. If you guys notice, most of these watches all have dials. This has a dial. This one has a dial on hands. And of course my Edifice, the reason I liked the Edifice and ordered it was because it had hands and a dial. If you look at my other watches, these are my higher end dress watches. My wife got me this one. This is my Bulova. Again, this is about a $300 watch. This is my old Elgin. I've had this for about 10-15 years. It's gold plated, but it is a quartz watch. And before we go any further, I want to talk about, you have mechanical watches, which is my favorite, all-time favorite. I like a mechanical watch. And what do I mean by that? That means it actually has a mechanism in it where if you have a clear back, if you look inside the watch, see in there, this has a self-wind feature, and there's no batteries in this. It's all works on winding power. You wind it up and the watch goes. This actually has a feature that when you move your arm around, that little wheel in there will spin around and wind the watch up for you. And this watch right here you can buy for about $35. Believe it or not, you can pick this watch up for about 35 bucks, and it actually has a Seiko movement in it. How they can do that for that price, I'll never know. Okay, on the other end of the spectrum, you have a quartz watch. And people hear that word quartz and they think, oh, quartz, that's a mineral. Well, no, it's it's weird. I don't know why they use quartz. What they're meaning by quartz is a battery operated watch. So it's got electric motors in it that is powered by a battery. Either a battery Well, it's going to be powered by a battery either way. But the better watches, like my Edifice, is solar powered. So, I should never have to change the battery in this. Now, saying never is probably going, a little bit crazy, but from what I've heard from other people who have had solar watches, sometimes those batteries can last 20, 30 years before they have to replace them. You're getting your power from any light source, okay? The older solar power actually had to get power from the sun. The new solar powered watches, they get their power from any light source. So I used to actually be a real critic of quartz watches until I saw Casio. And man, I saw some of the watches from Casio, and even back in the old, and I say old days, when I first started purchasing Casio watches, this was actually my very first Casio watch, and it was this one right here. And the battery went dead in this watch, I would say, about 5 years ago. And I've had this watch for almost 30 years. But about 5 years ago, the battery went dead in it, and I just threw it in my drawer. And it's a good thing I didn't throw it away. I purchased a new strap for it, and a battery, and I got some other tools to take the case back off and do some work and stuff like that. I put a new battery in it, and man, I've got my old work watch back, and I love it. I love this watch. It has a mineral crystal lens in it. These watches sold brand new. Well, you can buy them now brand new, same watch, for about $100. Same with this one here. This is actually a triple sensor G-Shock. And when we talk about Casio watches, G-Shocks are by far my favorite of all of Casio watches. When they come out with the G-Shock, man, they just blew the lid off of what people thought of Casio, as a watchmaker. This was kind of what I liked in the G-Shock, and this is a triple sensor, meaning it is barometer, altimeter, and compass, plus it will give you the temperature. If you're going to use the temperature, I do recommend that you take the watch off of your wrist, because the back of the watch will actually pick up some of the heat from your arm. So take the watch off the back of your wrist for at least 5 minutes, and then check the temperature, and it will give you a very accurate temperature of your surrounding. Another Casio watch, and I don't know the exact number on this, and I will try to look them up, and I will post them here for you guys. But this is another beautiful watch that I love, and I've been wearing now for almost ever. And I just put a battery in this one as well. And this was like the first of the G-Shocks right here. And you can pick these up. They still sell this exact watch. You can pick these watches up for about $30, $35, $40. There's also been people out there, or companies out there, that have been copycats trying to copy what Casio's making. As soon as Casio came out with the Mudmaster and the Rangemaster and the Gravity Master and all that, Chinese companies started coming out with watches like this one right here. And it basically looks like a Mudmaster. And the Mudmaster in this configuration would sell for about $800 to $1,000, okay? Because normally a lot of these you could only get from Japan, which they call their JDM watches. You could get them from the United States, but again, they were going to be about $800 to $900, and they're very, very limited watches. There you go. You can get a nice look at the color of it.
And this is called an SMAEL.
But this watch only cost $20, okay? And even though the hands don't work anymore in it, the digital part of it still works, so it still tells time. But it does not have the functions that the Mudmaster has. So, the Mudmaster has, your barometric, it has your altimeter, your barometer, your thermometer, and your compass. This has none of that. Absolutely zero. Also, I know this isn't Casio, but I collect watches from Russia, and I've just started doing that. And I'll try to inset the name of this one for you, but there it is. And this is a diving watch. You actually have to unscrew this crown to set your time and all that, okay? Because this is how it seals up for very deep water, deep water diving, stuff like that. But that watch cost me $25, and it is a mechanical movement. It does not require a battery. You screw the back off of that watch, and it's got a self-winding feature just like the other one. So the more you move your wrist, the more it winds itself up. All right, and last but not least, I just wanted to bring up this watch here. Again, I can't remember the name of it. I was going to have my web browser opened up so I could give you the name, but what I'll do is I'll annotate it above here and let you guys know what the name is of this watch. But this is another mechanical watch. Comes with a sort of leather band. It's not real leather, but again, you can see this has a clear back, and it's got a self-wind feature on it as well. And this one, from what I could tell, I put this on and I wore it for 3 days solid and never had to wind it. You have to do the initial winding on it, but after you wound it once, just the movement of your arm would fling that little wheel around on the inside and it would keep it wound up. But here you go. Here's another one, and again, $35 on Amazon. And I'll try to put the links to all these watches. All right, but getting back to Casio. Where Casio was when they started out was really funny, because anybody that watched the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles will remember the part in there. They're trying to get a hotel room for the night, and Steve Martin goes up to the clerk and says, I'd like a room for the night, but I don't have any money, but I have $60 and a really nice watch. And he gets a room. So John Candy comes up next after that. The guy said, would you like a room? And John Candy said,
no, I don't. I have $2 and a Casio.
A Casio. And it was so funny. He did that, and then of course the guy looked at him and says, I'm gonna have to say goodnight. So he couldn't get a room. But back in them days, that's what people thought of Casio. They were cheap watches. But the thing of it is yes, they were cheap to purchase, but they were good watches. They were dependable watches. That's why a lot of people bought them, and that's why a lot of people wore them. Because when you bought a Casio watch, you bought it because you wanted something that you could count on. Every time you looked at your wrist, you knew that it was going to tell you what time it was, and it was going to be very correct. And you didn't have to break the bank in order to purchase one of those watches. So the way they got out of that stigma of being, the cheap watch manufacturer is they started coming out with the G-Shock brand. And the G-Shock brand was Casio's way of making a watch that could go anywhere, do anything, and you would never have to worry about hurting that watch. Believe me, I've had this watch right here for about 10 years now, and I have beat the living dog snot out of this watch, and it still functions. It still goes. You guys can probably see all the scratches on it, and I haven't gotten a new band for it or anything like that, but it's so dependable. Every time I need to have a very dependable watch. Before I got the Mudmaster or my Edifice, I grabbed this watch here, and the really nice thing about that watch is that it has a compass on it, which is usually the only thing that I use. And Casio knew that there was a market for that, because a lot of people were getting into trekking or going for walks, and their walks weren't around the block. It was out in the wilderness. So they decided, we're going to start making a watch that people are going to like, and we're going to make it very, very rugged. And they decided to call that line of watches the G-Shock watch. And basically that just means, G-Shock just basically means it is a very sturdy watch, and it'll take tremendous amounts of shock, okay? Now, with the G-Shock brand, it started branching off even more from there. This is actually kind of part of the G-Shock brand of watch right here. This was some of their first G-Shocks that they come out with. Then they started coming out with this. Okay. And then they came out with, of course, the Mudmaster. Now, the Mudmaster has a couple different levels of price range. And I'm going to inset the watch into this video because Noah wore it to school today. He loves that watch. I may end up just giving it to him. He wanted to wear it to school, so I'll be insetting pictures of that watch in here so you guys can see what it looks like as I talk about it. But there are two basic groups of watch that you can get in the Mudmaster family. The cheaper one, and then this one, which is their most expensive version. This one has a couple more features that the cheaper one doesn't have. But if you get the new version of their cheaper one, it's got barometer, the altimeter, and the compass in it, just like this one has. So there you go. But I think you can pick up the cheaper one for around $300, and this one here is about $700. Okay. The Mudmaster is the watch people think about when they think survival watch, and I gotta have the best. I'm gonna be in an area where I'm gonna beat the dog snot out of this watch, and it's gonna take a pounding. I need it to survive, or I am going to be going diving in a treacherous place. So I need something that's gonna stand up to the deep pressures, me banging it against some rocks, blah blah blah, so on and so on. And the more expensive one, this one, the one I have, actually has the quartz crystal lens in it. The cheaper one has a mineral crystal lens or face in it. Now the quartz crystal one, they are very hard to scratch, and that's one of the reasons I got the upgraded version. The cheaper one, the $300 one, has a mineral crystal. They're still very, very hard, and they scratch way less than what plastic does, but they do scratch. But I can highly recommend them. Now, Casio also came out with what they call the Edifice, okay, and that's right here. And basically, what they wanted to have was like a kind of a dress watch with a metal band that had a lot of features in it. Now, this does not have compass, and it doesn't have the the compass, altimeter, barometer, and stuff like that, the ABCs in it. But this does have a lot of alarm features and time features, where you can set stopwatches and things like that. So it's got a lot of features to it. And this is also Bluetooth capable. You can connect to Bluetooth by pushing and holding on this button to the side. And I just loved it. When I saw it, I loved it. So I will be doing reviews on this watch here, which is my Edifice. I will be reviewing my Mudmaster, and I will be reviewing the Rangemaster in separate videos. And I'm just going to make those videos, just about those watches, and I'm going to leave everything out. But okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and add this little video clip in. I finally did get my Rangemaster, and I think it's called a Rangeman. Again, this is what my wife purchased for me. God bless her. Now I'm gonna bring you along with me while I unbox this, and yes, I'm gonna go ahead and be upfront with you all. I'd already unboxed this, but I wanted you guys to see what you can expect when you purchase one of these for the first time and what you're gonna get with it. So, open the box. You're gonna get this massively thick manual. Flip open this part of the box. You're going to get your warranty cards and stuff. Hang on to those. Reach in, pull out the tin. And this is one of the things that I like about Casio G-Shock and a lot of their just their upgraded models, like the Edifice and some of the other models that they have. They come in a tin. It's just an extra step Casio does that I love. I mean, it was the same way with my Mudmaster, the one that Noah wears right now. So now this watch, brand new, is about $300. I think it's $320. It lists on their site for $340. I think my wife purchased this for $300. That's the tag that I took off of it. It's on the band. It was wrapped in this plastic bag. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out, and whoops, there you guys go. There you go. That's what it looks like. I mean, that is one cool watch. Now, as with all their other high-end watches, the back on this is actually a solid chunk of aluminum that's been milled. I just think it's crazy. And pretty cool all at the same time. So there you guys go. I'm going to be doing a full review on the Mudmaster and the Rangeman, and of course my Edifice. So you guys be looking for that. So let's go ahead and get back to the video. This video was basically just for me to introduce you to what Casio has, where they've been, where they started out, and where they are today. One Casio I haven't shown you yet is, this is what their really, really cheap one looks like. Right there. Okay, so this is the kind of like the cheapest Casio watch you can pick up. You can get these for like $10 to $15 all day long, and they just last and last. But this is like the bottom end of what you can get as a survival type watch from Casio. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, this wasn't meant to be a video on any specific make of Casio watch. I just kind of wanted to introduce you guys to Casio, and if you are watch snobs, which I am not, don't overlook Casio. They have watches that, you know, start out at the $20 range, the $15 range, and they have watches that go up into the $4,000 and $5,000 range if you want to get a JDM. I'd never own one of those. I would never pay that much money for a watch. I just don't think they're worth that much money. It's just a watch. But that's pretty much it. I wanted to introduce you guys to Casio. Again, don't forget, I'm going to be doing full reviews on the Edifice and the Mudmaster, and of course the Rangemaster. Be looking for them. They'll be coming soon. That's pretty much all I have. If you guys have any questions, post them below, okay? If you have any ideas on any videos that you want me to do, post them below. That's it. Did you notice I didn't have to say anything to Ziggy at all? He's sleeping. He's sleeping out in the living room. So I actually got this video done before he actually barked or bit or started to chew something. So, alright guys, I've kept you way too long. I just want to thank you all for watching. Don't forget about my giveaway coming up. It's going to be soon. I'm going to try to have it at least by Christmas, okay? So, that's it. I want to thank you all for watching, and I will see you all on the next one.